Hey everyone, how's it going? So what are we doing now? We're going to have a discussion about this Hyundai Veloster. And I know most of you have seen that video of this thing smoking. And I showed you the piston, through the Borescope and stuff like that. And a lot of you asked, how does that even happen? Well, I'm going to explain things that can cause it to happen. Now, do I know exactly what happened? No, I may never know. But let's start this thing up and let's take a look. All right, so here we go. And oh, you asked about mileage. I believe it's 155. I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry, 131, 730. Okay, so it starts right up. But you can see a little bit of smoke coming out of it. Let's rev it up. And there we go. That's heavy smoke. Now, whoo, it stinks of oil. Well, I guess if the oil burner ever goes out in the house, I can use this engine. Get it? All right, so like I said, 1.6 liter. Obviously, smoking like a banshee. Rev it up again. She apparently has owned this thing for a while. She just never took that sticker off. Because I asked, did she just buy this? And she said no, she's had it for several years. But if that cylinder's not firing, why is it smoking that bad? Well, it could be a couple of reasons. Hang on a second, let's just shut this down. Ooh, man, that thing stinks. All right, so in a situation like this, what actually happened? I'm going to put you into a tripod, make my life a little bit easier. Hopefully this will work the way I want it to. Hang on. I don't edit any of this stuff out because that's, what you see is what you get, I think I may have finally figured that one out too, the Nissan. I've had that here for several months, and I think I finally figured it out. I'll let you know later about that. So, you saw the top of the piston through the Borescope, and a chunk of it is missing on a corner. What causes that? Okay, there's several things that can cause it. The most common thing that causes that is detonation, pre-ignition, timing advanced too much. Pre-ignition can also happen when spark plugs wear out. What is pre-ignition? Pre-ignition is the timing is either set too far in advance, or pre-ignition could be you have carbon buildup on top of the piston. As the piston comes up, the spark plug fires, and what happens is it creates an explosion. The explosion evenly forms out to push the piston back down, creating power. If you have carbon buildup, what can happen is you get a chunk of carbon stuck on the piston that's now glowing red hot, okay? As the piston's coming up and it injects the fuel, this is a direct injected engine too. So it'll inject the fuel. Now, back up just a hair here. When a piston's coming up, it doesn't come up completely, then fire, then come back down. What happens is as it's coming up, like if you have the timing set, like on an old distributor car, carbureted car with a distributor, fuel injected car with a distributor, whatever, where you can adjust the timing. Zero means, if you set it to zero, zero means it happens at the exact time when the piston meets the very top before it starts coming back down. That's zero. You set it to 32 degrees advanced or 25 degrees advanced. That means 25 degrees of the crankshaft rotation before that piston reaches the top is when it starts its firing process. So it'll fire before it's actually all the way up. This way, as the flame is expanding, the explosion is expanding, it's coming up, it actually compresses it even more and forces it down even harder. That's why engines make more power. You can only go to a certain extent, like you can't have it at like 50 degrees of timing, so it's halfway up its stroke and then it starts to fire. And it's like way too much. You can't do that. But every engine's a little bit different. It depends on its compression ratios. Is it turbo? Is it not turbo? Nitrous? You name it. There's a bunch of different things, different octanes and whatnot. Normally, octanes on a fuel-injected car, unless it calls for high octane, don't bother using it. You're just wasting your money. It doesn't change anything. Engines are designed to run on regular gas unless otherwise specified. So what happens is, if you have a piece of carbon that's stuck on a piston and it's starting to come up, and now all of a sudden it fires, that piece of carbon will start to ignite the fuel mixture. So it'll start to ignite it from this end, let's say. And let's say the spark plug is over here, like at this end of the combustion chamber. What happens is the explosion started to happen over here. Now it starts happening over here because the spark plug fired. Now those two collide with one another. That creates a pinging sound. Like I know some of you have probably heard it. The older guys out there, older men, women that have been in this industry or know anything about cars will know what I'm talking about. You'll get a pinging sound. You'll also get a knocking type sound, and that's because when the explosions occur in two different spots, the piston can actually rock in the bore like this. You can break skirts of pistons, you can break ringlands of pistons. That's the most common reason for this happening. The other reasons for this happening is incorrect fuel mixture. If it's running too lean, like not enough fuel, what happens is the cylinder pressures get too high, which can create detonation and pinging and knocking. But it also will overheat the top of the piston and can take a chunk off the end of the piston or melt the piston. I've seen that happen. It looks like somebody actually physically took a torch and melted it. It can happen that way. Other things that can happen are a piece of debris went through the motor, spark plug broke apart, fell into the motor. I don't think this is the reason for this on this particular engine, but another thing is piston ring gap. Like you have a certain amount of gap at the end of a piston ring, okay? As the cylinder heats up, that piston ring gap gets smaller and smaller and smaller. If the piston ring butts up against each other, if the ends butt up against each other, what can happen is that ring now has to fold a little bit to make up for it. It can't expand. And when it folds, it'll actually create like a wavy design in it. It's just the nature of the metal itself, of the steel, or whatever the ring is made out of. And it can actually break off the top of the pistons. That's more common on nitrous oxide vehicles, supercharged vehicles, turbocharged vehicles. This is not a turboed car, so I doubt very highly that's what happened. My guess on this vehicle, and this is purely a guess, I got a funny feeling she's going to do this repair. I didn't think so in the beginning, but I got a funny feeling she's going to do the repair. If she does, I'm going to tear this engine down because I want to actually inspect it and see what happens. I didn't see signs of, usually it's catastrophic if it happens. I didn't see signs of like a valve breaking the head off and falling in there. Usually when that happens, it just completely lunges the piston. And the piston wasn't completely lunched. It was, had a corner broken off of it. But why? What I think happened was I think it's possible that maybe because it's direct injected, maybe something happened with that single direct injector and it ran that cylinder lean for whatever reason. Now, of course, I don't know because somebody else has been in this vehicle. Somebody changed the coils, somebody changed the plugs. So what codes were in it, stuff like that. I have no idea. I haven't the slightest idea. I don't know because I came into it after somebody else has already been in there. Another possibility, somebody do any work on this thing at some point in the past where they had the intake off or they had the throttle body off and maybe a screw or a nut fell into the intake and it eventually sucked it in? Possibly. Anything's possible. I had a weird one yesterday and it was a Hyundai. And I've seen this on other vehicles, but her car was a turbo car. And she said every once in a while, if she's going and accelerating hard, it'll sputter down a little bit and then go. She said it doesn't happen all the time. It's just every once in a blue moon, and it just started doing it the other day. So I took her for a ride, and I got on it. And all of a sudden, I heard it detonating a little bit, and I look in my rearview mirror, and there's a cloud of smoke behind me. But then it cleared up. What is that? The intake manifolds on most vehicles, this happens on almost every vehicle out there. Most vehicles, you will never notice it, though. Most vehicles, the intake will pool up with oil over time. It's just a natural occurrence inside the engine. So if you could, put a catch can on your vehicle, an oil catch can, so the breather will actually drop those deposits in the catch can instead of depositing in the intake manifold. So on her vehicle, I'm pretty confident this is what was going on. with the turbulence inside the intake manifold from revving the engine up so high, it was starting to suck in that oil. And that's why it did that, and it bogged down everything else. Could that have happened to this one? Absolutely. It could have happened to it. It could have been extreme at like one point, sucked it in and broke the piston. It's possible. It could have been, who the heck knows? There's just so many variables as to what it could be. I don't know. I don't have a clear-cut answer, unfortunately. So anyway, I just wanted to cover that because there was many questions in regards to it. I'm thinking she's going to fix it. I hope she actually does. I wouldn't mind doing the job. They're not bad to do. You just take the nose off, pull the engine and transmission out as an assembly, and then separate them. It's really not that difficult to do these engines. It's time-consuming. It's just not difficult. There's a difference between time-consuming and difficult. Don't forget that. So anyway, I hope you got something out of that. I hope that helped clear a few things up with this. So anyway, that's pretty much it. If you're getting something out of my videos, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. If you look down in the links below, I have a tendency to put links to Amazon products that I personally use. I don't do it on every video, but I do it on most videos. So if you could give it a click, it helps me out. Anyway, that's it. All right, guys, have a great day and keep wrenching.